Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. E3 this year has been crazy with all kinds of announcements and tons of info about various new and exciting RPGs. But without a doubt, it is Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red that has gotten us at FudgeMuppet the most excited. The trailer revealed a lot about what to expect from this story-driven, open-world, fully customizable RPG, but now loads of new details have come out that are very exciting. Fallout 76 may be an online game less focused on the traditional single-player RPG elements, but thankfully this game will deliver all of the stuff we RPG players love. A quick disclaimer before I get into the details is this: only a select few in the media were given access to the 50-minute gameplay demo for Cyberpunk 2077, and it most likely will not be available to watch for some time. That means visually we only have the trailer, but don't worry because this video will give you all the info, including the stuff shown in that gameplay demo. So let's start off with all the confirmed information from the various developer interviews. First up, we have the point that CDPR really wanted to drive home about this game. Cyberpunk 2077 will be exclusively in first-person perspective, with no option to switch to third-person. But at the same time, they guarantee that this is no first-person shooter, and is purely a first-person role-playing game. At first I was a little concerned about this fact, but I think it is a good thing at the end of the day. You will still get to enjoy your character customizations in cutscenes and driving, and in the inventory screen, but having first person opens the door to some serious immersion. The devs talk extensively about the verticality of the map, meaning in the city everything is crammed in close with many tall buildings. Imagine standing in an alleyway looking up at the skyscrapers towering over you. That would be fantastic in first person, but in third, your camera will catch on everything. Also, the gameplay has been designed around seamless transitions from combat to exploring to dialogue, and having your character react by grabbing an NPC's gun that is pointed at you, for example, works so much better with the locked perspective. On top of that, the inclusion of cybernetic enhancements and perks means that the UI, what you see on your screen and your HUD, will constantly be updating, looking totally different if you opt to become a total cyborg. Upgrades will affect your UI and the gameplay. Subdermal grip, for example, increases V's gun damage and adds ammo counters to the UI. Optical upgrade allows V to zoom in and scan enemies or vehicles. With first person, this is going to be very immersive. Night City is supposed to feel overpopulated, crowded, and claustrophobic. Next, the devs spoke about the deep progression system, all the things you'd expect from a CDPR game. Multiple different progression systems with a huge array of skills, attributes, perks, cyberware, and so on. This game is built around the role-playing elements, which is music to my ears as a lover of single-player RPGs. Experience will be gained in two different ways. The main story will offer traditional XP, while side quests will allow you to improve your street cred, granting access to new vendors, new fixes for quests, and new areas of the map. This will help prevent you from over-leveling if you prefer to focus the main quests or the side quests. Character creation is taken to an all-new level with the life path system. Of course, you can pick your gender, look, style, tattoos, scars, makeup, body type, etc, etc. But the life path allows you to determine where your character came from and who they were before you picked up the controller. This lets you choose V's backstory. The choices you make about your character's life path alter your progression through the game and what you unlock for your character, and this will also shape your personality when progressing through the storyline. Interacting with characters will be affected by life path and build choices. Choice and consequences are huge, and the RPG elements are the most important parts of the game. At FudgeMuppet, we love making backstories for Skyrim and Fallout builds, but now with Cyberpunk we can do exactly that, while also picking a life path that makes the world react to the backstory that we chose. Not much has been revealed about this, but there are two options we've seen mentioned: looks like trouble and runaway child. Say you've picked looks like trouble for your character. It seems like with that, first impressions with other NPCs will be intimidating. They will be cautious around you and even scared of you. With all of these role-playing elements, it's good to know that dialogue will be very fleshed out and you will have branching dialogue options for all encounters. The dialogue is more fluid than The Witcher, and dialogue options can pop up on the fly as you move around the city. There are even going to be non-violent ways to resolve many hostile situations, like the ability to calm a mugger down who draws a gun on you, or hell, you can just choose the option to wrench the gun from their hands altogether. The ability to choose and the fact that there are noticeable consequences whenever you do choose a specific dialogue option is really exciting, and you'll see some examples of that when I talk about the gameplay demo. The devs emphasised choice and consequence multiple times in the interviews. We also learn a lot about classes, and my predictions from the trailer breakdown seem to be pretty close to the mark. The roles from the tabletop RPG are present, some of which you will meet in your adventure, and others that you'll be able to spec into to create your own custom class. The attributes, skills, and perks you pick will dictate the class you are, or the hybrid of classes you become. The 3 roles CDPR have focused on are netrunners, techies, and solos. And as an example for building your class, while you may not choose to be a techie at the start, you can likely take the tech-based perks and attributes that turn you into a build predominantly in that class. This is a fluid class system with room for personalization, rather than being locked into one role. Solos are the hired hitmen, bodyguards, corporate soldiers, and mercenaries. I expect that their attributes and perks will be to do with traditional combat, martial arts, gunmanship, no-nonsense, soldier-type things. Netrunners are the hackers who use the internet and technology like a second world to navigate through. These guys are closer to cyborgs or robots than solos usually, or they are at least in tune with that world. Netrunner perks and attributes will revolve around scanning, jacking, manipulation through machines, that kind of thing. And the techies, they are the mechanics who know how to make machines work for them. These guys will have perks to do with building and operating deadly robots, and with equivalent ease, they can stop anything from working. And from what the developers have said so far, you will be able to spec into all of these skill trees on the fly, becoming invested in one or becoming a hybrid of the lot. When it comes to your character stats, it isn't certain how the classes, perks, skills and stats will work together, but we know that these are the main stats that your character will be able to focus on. Think the special stats from Fallout. Their strength, constitution, intelligence, reflexes, tech, and cool. Your investment into these stats will no doubt affect your ways to approach choices in the world. Ramifications tied to all your stat, perk, and attribute choices will play out as you wander the city. As for story, this game will be very loyal to cyberpunk themes and the gritty noir tone of wealth disparity and corporate oppression. There is going to be a lingering sense of hopelessness everywhere, and rebellion will be rife in the streets. In the trailer, they proactively chose to show a sunny day as an example for their ability to make a gritty, high-tech, low-life corporate oppression world that also has a day-night cycle, rather than being in perpetual darkness like many other interpretations of the genre. The level of detail and the narrative focus present in The Witcher 3 will also be here, just in a new genre, similar dark gritty themes. There are 3 more areas to cover: combat, the world, and nudity. Except in the case of nudity, I guess that's an area to uncover. Full frontal nudity will be present in the game, with many romance options and even the ability to take people home for some classy one-night stands. That's all confirmed by the devs. In a cyberpunk city, this is pretty much a requirement. The exploitation, the degeneracy, the willingness of many to put their middle finger up to what is decent and civilized is a big factor in the tone. So expect clubs with strippers, some human, others cyborg. There's no judgment in Night City. As for the world, motorbikes and cars are confirmed to be drivable. However, they want to encourage the player to explore on foot, with many tight congested places and others hidden in buildings away from the roads. Flying cars were hinted at, but the devs wouldn't speak about their role in the game. So if you saw my trailer breakdown, this all makes total sense. Whatever role flying cars will play in the game is not going to be as simple as flying around the city. Each of the 6 unique districts will be joined together by roads, and they all have their own atmosphere that distinguishes them from the others. All on top of the overarching noir theme. There is going to be plenty of vertical variety as well as horizontal variety. This means that not only is the map vast, but there are going to be lots of buildings we can enter, that serve as their own cities as you go up and down floors. Mega buildings are micro-societies with their own ecosystems of vendors and smiths, and apartments, etc., all within one building. And then comes combat. You'll see some specific examples in a moment when I describe the standout parts of the gameplay demo, but according to the developers, there is going to be ranged and melee combat, both in first person. They learned a lot from The Witcher 3 and have translated it to help them make the best combat system in Cyberpunk. There are 3 main weapon styles you can focus into. Power weapons are big guns and futuristic versions of modern firearms, with plenty of stopping power. Tech weapons include things like penetrating through walls and NPCs and objects. Then smart weapons, which track and follow targets. Combat tries to cater to both stat-based RPG style of letting your stats dominate your ability, and the twitch-based aim and shoot style. There are 4 different damage types, including physical, thermal, EMP, and chemical. So we should see some serious variety with the weapons. We should see high-impact traditional ammunition-based weapons, incendiary burning weapons, electrical weapons, and chemical warfare. You will also have equipment and chip slots. An example of a chip is a dog-sized robot spider that follows and fights alongside V. These chips, cybernetics and implants and all the good stuff will be great for varying gameplay mechanics across multiple playthroughs. So unfortunately the gameplay hasn't been released to the public, so we only get to watch the trailer, but thankfully there is a really detailed documentation of the 50-minute demo from Andrew Reiner of Game Informer. The demo involves V and a business partner named Jackie Wells tracking down a missing person from scavengers who kidnap people to strip them of their implants. V uses a reflex booster, one of the many consumables in the game, as a buff to slow down time, somewhat similar to Jet in the Fallout franchise. V is then seen in her apartment. Maybe this is your residence when you start the game and your safe house/hub. It begs the question, will we be able to purchase or acquire other properties as we play and acquire wealth or finish specific quests? Her bathroom doubles up as an armory, her computer stores her mail and likely her quest markers, and her closet stores her jackets, which will provide protections against the 4 damage types, as well as have specific effects on your street credibility. Wearing specific clothing will allow you to access different vendors and areas. Later, she is in the backseat of a car with a man named Dexter. As you drive to the mission, which seems to be a heist, you're involved in the conversation and given dialogue options. The choices you make will not only alter the flow of the conversation, but can even change the way the mission is carried out altogether. She visits a Ripper doc, who provides upgrades, and apparently there is even a stunning amount of detail in this process. Getting an upgrade is like a backstreet surgery, and is an overwhelming experience, not just a black screen. The upgrade, which is called a Kiroshi optical scanner, changes your first-person UI permanently, giving you new abilities and new indicators on screen. You can see why first person is so important to the game. In the following combat encounter, we learn some new things about combat. We see that you can jack into robots to use them like mobile turrets, and we see a smart or tech weapon that has ricocheting bullets. If stealth is chosen, you can assassinate foes one by one, slitting throats, or you can hack their cybernetics, infiltrating their neurosystems. V uses the mantis blades, which appear like 2 swords built into her arms. You can wall run while slicing and dicing, and you can plunge down from above. Stealth, agility, brute force, and hacking seem to be the 4 key ways to deal with hostile situations. The conversation at the end of the quest incorporates all of the choices V has made up to that point. It is a shame that despite all of this new info and an extensive gameplay demo, no release date has been announced. But the game seems to be in a very polished state, and we may not be waiting too much longer. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Drew, and I will catch you later.